Hello and welcome, dear investor. You are looking for quality stocks for your portfolio and you want to find these stocks in a very efficient way, which makes fun. Then this video is right for you. Let's enter the screener. My name is Thorsten and I'm the founder of this website, Dividend Stocks Cash, helping investors to find high quality stocks. This is the area where you do the proper fundamental analysis, including valuation of the stock, if the stock is expensive or cheap. Right now, I made an own video explaining how you do the valuation of a stock. But before you do the fundamental analysis, including valuation, you better create a list here in the screener of stocks which are potentially interesting for you. To do so, you work with the filter, the rankings, and the watch list. You start, that's my proposition, with the filter. And before you add any criteria here, you should know what you're looking for. Let's assume now that you are a dividend investor and you want decent dividend payments right from the start. And then we can apply this criteria here, dividends of more than 2%. If we apply criteria here, we limit the list of stocks shown in the screener itself here. For example, 11-Bit Studios is a Polish gaming company, does not pay dividends at all. You see it here. And if I apply more than 2% dividend yield as a criteria in the filter, then 11-Bit Studios is gone. You see it here. So we limit the result set in the screener here. You're a dividend investor, but even if you're a dividend investor, you should always pay attention to only invest in high quality stocks. Otherwise, there is impeding danger of a dividend cut somewhere in the future, and you can limit this danger if you look for high quality stocks. These are stocks of companies with very reliable, predictable, stable earnings and cash flows. So my proposition is to include earnings stability as well. For example, at least 0.8, the maximum value is 1. So at least 0.8, and this limits the list here even further. And you can combine this with stable, predictable operating cash flows, also at least 0.8, which limits the list once more. And I pretend that now this list includes high quality dividend stocks. Maybe not only, maybe there are some examples of companies which have some problems, but overall this is a high quality list of dividend stocks paying more than dividends than 2% right from the start. In this list we have stocks from all over the world, many US stocks of course, but also from other parts of the world, Europe, Asia, like here, Japan, even Australian stocks could be in this list. After adding the criteria to this list, to the filter, you can persist this filter or save this filter. You give it a name, for example, my dividend champions, and you can make it the default filter, which means that if you reload the screen or revisit the screen on the next day, then this filter is preloaded. You can check this. Use template. Template simply means that all configuration settings here are persisted within this filter, so we don't need to restart or reconfigure the filter here. Let's continue, and then here you see the filter is already persisted. Now you can load another filter. I already have other filters like dividend growth stocks here, and then you see there are 2 additional criteria here, and then come back to my dividend champions we just created, and this is the filter. The list is already nice because it contains potentially high quality dividend stocks. But you could now go from the first to the second to the third, and then always do your fundamental analysis. You can also select the dividends or the dividend stocks with the highest dividends right from the start, and then start from here. But there's also another even better way. We have rankings, and these are rankings which are just for you, which are personalized by you, like you personalized the filter. We have here column visibility, and you can add a new column which is called rank. It's a shortcut for ranking, and by default it's shown. It's just for detectional purposes that I hit this column. So I press rank, and then you see here a new column with rainbow colors, and this column has some scores, and 100 is the best, and 0, you might guess it, is the worst. And we can now create a new ranking which corresponds to your dividend champions filter. First, let's reset the rankings, because this is an old ranking, it's dividend income ranking, and then you will see after pressing here the reset button, after pressing this, and then you should reset simply turns off all criteria, so the sliders go to off, and then you need to press the apply button, and if you do so, the ranking will be applied. Because there's no criteria in our rankings, there's no ranking available. But now we can add our own dividend growth ranking, or not dividend growth, but my dividend champions. So I give the ranking the same name as for the filter, so that I know that they belong together. And I also add this ranking as a default ranking, and then I press continue, and now it's persisted. Here it is. And what you can do now, while the quality filter, or the filter itself, limits the list of the results shown in the screener, rankings does not filter anymore. It just gives you the scores. And I can now, this is an advantage, I can now make criteria for the target dividend yield of more than 2% without limiting this list. For example, it means for the criteria to match 100%, the dividend yield must be at least 3% or 3.5%, even more. Then we have the earnings stability. We have the earnings stability here. I can go up to 1, which is extremely demanding, and the same for the operating cash flow. And only if a stock meets all these criteria, it gets a score of 100, otherwise the score will be lower, and I'm pretty sure that no dividend stock match this criteria, because with the earnings stability and cash flow stability of 1, this is really hard. So let's apply this ranking, and then you will see here that a score will be calculated. Here it is. And this is done for each stock. And now you know which stock is more or less interesting. We can sort the ranking, or by ranking, and you see it's the lowest ranking, but we want the potentially most interesting stocks on top. This is, for example, Coresight Realty. I decrease the size of the screener a little bit, because now I want to work here too. Let's select Coresight Realty. This is a REIT. We have the funds for operations here, and we calculate for REITs the earning stability with the funds for operations, not with the earnings, by the way. So we handle REITs we analyze REITs and present these in a proper way. And now we have this ranking tab here, and this gives you the detailed look about how the score of 99 was calculated, which of the 3 criteria we set here was met, fully met, and which wasn't. For example, the dividend yield was met, the desired value was 3.5% dividend yield, the actual value is 3.6%. And although this company has very stable earnings and operating cash flows, they are not as stable as 0.99 regarding funds from operations, this is earnings because it's a REIT, and 0.95 for the operating cash flow. And now you can just, you have a nice indication which of these stocks are more interesting than others, thanks to this score here. We can also, or we should also now, after you adjusted the ranking, you should persist it. Okay, you can press the update button here, press continue, and now the ranking, your ranking was updated, and if you revisit the site the next day, because it's a default ranking, the filter and the ranking is preloaded. And now you just do your proper fundamental analysis, and you can also limit to country, for example. So if you're from the United States, you can enter United States here or select it from the list below, and then you only have stocks from the United States. There are shown 50 stocks right here. You can enlarge the number of stocks shown, and you can do paging like that. And then you get the different result sets, always page like in a book of 50. Right now, if I have 50 stocks here, otherwise 100 or 200. Okay, now you do your proper fundamental analysis, you start on the top, and then you can add, if you have found an interesting stock, you can add it to a watch list. We can create as many watch lists if we want, as we want. You can add a new one. You can also call it the same name, my dividend stocks for, or my dividend champions was the proper name. You can see it here. You can also make it the default watch list. Press continue. Here it is. It's empty right from the start, of course. And now you can add stocks to this watch list simply by clicking this checkbox in the watch list column. For example, Coresight Realty, don't know, Realty Income, another REIT, and a T row price group. It's a little bit arbitrarily. And if you revisit the screen again tomorrow, the watch list will be preloaded and you will see which stocks you already selected. You can press the apply button. By doing so, you filter just by stocks in your watch list. And this way, using the filter, the rankings, and the watch list, you get a really nice list you can efficiently work on and do your proper fundamental analysis to only find the best stocks for your portfolio. Thanks for watching. See you next time. Bye bye.